rain on me, rain on me, ha, ha. On May 29th, 2020, Lady Gaga released her 6th studio album, Chromatica. And here's what I thought. Now, Lady Gaga, if you don't know, is a pop icon. She's been around since like the late 2000s and since has had some pretty monster, yes, pun intended, hits. I remember being younger and hearing Paparazzi for the first time, kind of really digging the sound. I remember watching videos like Telephone and really enjoying it, you know, with the whole like kind of short film kind of vibe to it all. At the time, I was 14 and was really heavily invested in pretty much just pop punk, so I never really sat down and listened to a full Lady Gaga album. Until a few years ago when I listened to Joanne, which I really enjoyed. Oh, and I also remember watching that documentary a few years ago, her like leading up to the Super Bowl performance. That was really cool. But even though I hadn't really ever listened to a full album until Joanne, I did really have a respect for Lady Gaga. I remember her saying that her first album that she ever bought was Dookie by Green Day, and as a huge Green Day fan, I was like, cool, this chick is cool. Anyways, it's 2020, I haven't left my house in months. But that's fine, because we have a new Lady Gaga album to grace our ears. So let's give it a listen, shall we? Track 1, Chromatica, a 1. It's like an orchestral intro. It's really setting the stage for an epic Gaga experience. It's a nice overture and it kind of really stokes up the listener, you know? I'm ready. Track 2, Alice. The song has a very 2020 Dua Lipa kind of Charlie XCX kind of type pop vibe to it, but it's more saturated in 80s and almost a little bit of early 2000s like dance pop. The pre-chorus has some oh my mama, kind of brings me back to like the Bad Romance, ma mama, you know? Unmistakably Gaga. Unmistakably. Verse 2 has a very heavy vocoded effect on her voice, you know, really showing that this isn't the same kind of Lady Gaga that we saw in Joanne. Lyrically, she's looking for Wonderland, maybe as a source of escape. The musical production on the song really overshadows the lyrics, so I don't really think we have to look too deep into the lyrics of this track. It's a fun vibe, and I think if the rest of the album continues this kind of dance vibe, we're in for a treat. Track 3, Stupid Love. I like the almost 80s vocal sample, I guess, off the start. Her vocal melody kind of reminds me of the beginning of her vocal melody in Born This Way off the start of this track. The production has these pulsating synths, kind of like 80s style, like the pre-chorus is a little bit more open and free and kind of breaks away from the heavy electronic overload, It's a well-crafted song, and I think so far this has really cemented this album as a much more dancey album than Joanne. Again, the lyrics aren't super deep on this track. She's looking for someone to heal her and help her move forward from a past relationship, even if it is just with a stupid love. The song is optimistic, and it's kind of a nice departure and almost like a little bit of a growth from the, heartache that really soaked Joanne. Track 4, Rain on Me, featuring Ariana Grande. It's the single. The single best, I like the song. The song oozes ecstasy. Ariana's vocals in the second verse kind of really balance the song to pop perfection. It's a banger track. We've all heard it at this point. Gaga brings back her signature spoken word vocals. I'll be your galaxy, rain on me, tsunami. The song makes me want to go out into the rain and feel the rain. I can definitely see the song being the track of summer 2020. Prove me wrong, other artists, prove me wrong. Track 5, Free Woman. The song has kind of like a house production to it, almost like a Swedish House Mafia kind of thing, The pre-chorus has some great layered vocals. The chorus is powerful, both lyrically and, vocally. Production-wise, there's a lot of great elements that keep the ear very attentive to everything that's kind of happening, but it's really well crafted into a song. This is my song. Gaga knows her worth, and she's totally embracing it. She does not need no man. She has this album as her dance floor, and, she's gonna own it, like the downtown, I guess. This song definitely has the most to offer lyrically on this album so far. It's powerful, but it's still fun and dancey. It mixes a powerful message, but still has tons of fun dance elements together so well, it helps break the song apart from the rest of the album, that's not so strictly dancey. Am I making sense? Track 6, Fun Tonight. I really like the live drum sounds that are kind of flourished throughout this track, But the way this song builds is kind of reminiscent of the last track, Free Woman. It seems like Gaga is struggling with a breakup or a difficult relationship from the past. But overall, the song doesn't really do tons for me. And it feels a little less impactful after the powerful message and delivery of Free Woman, especially coming right after it, you know? Track 7, Chromatica 2, another orchestral interlude. A little bit more moody, introspective. What could this possibly mean for the next part of the album? Track 8, 9/11. You forgot 10. No. Track 8, 911. Robotic pulsating instrumentals, heavily affected vocals. It definitely has a darker tone. Gaga is beating herself up a bit in the first verse. She puts a lot of pressure on herself and has gone through a lot of tough times emotionally. In the chorus, she laments that her biggest enemy is really herself, expressing that she brings on all this negative energy like herself. She brings it on herself, you know? I think it's something that a lot of people can relate to, especially during this time when a lot of us are kind of home with really nothing to do. There is that pressure to want to achieve, to better yourself, to be the best you can. The kind of sad and dark lyrics are contrasted by the kind of fun pop vocal melody in the chorus. Kind of reminds me of like the Telephone chorus. In the second verse, she explores that, yeah, she can surround herself with beautiful places, but it's not real. It's not real like the true happiness one can feel. There's some fun experimentation on this track. The track as a whole is a lot more rigid, you know? It's a solid bop. Track 9, Plastic Doll. Uh-oh, someone's having poppy syndrome. The song is almost like a modern day Barbie girl song, as Lady Gaga sings in the verses about herself as if she was manufactured for like mass consumption. Like everything from her looks and her accessories are, you know, strictly for people to consume. But the modern twist comes in the chorus when she says she is not your doll. So take that, people who consume things. A fun little twist to the idea of self-worth. Again, fairly fun, but has a little less impact than the first few tracks in terms of dancey production elements. I like the bridge with the slow down vibe and the big bass hits, but yeah. Track 10, Sour Candy, featuring Blackpink. And yes, I love me some K-pop. Blackpink in your area. The production is right up Blackpink's alley. And I love that they kept the Korean lyrics here. I love listening to music in other languages because it really helps the listener focus on like the musical elements, not so much the lyrics. And Blackpink has some bops. Okay, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Gaga comes in for the refrain and has her second verse, but the song really feels like a Blackpink song featuring Lady Gaga. Lyrically, again, it doesn't have anything too deep. I'm intrigued by Gaga's verse. Close your eyes, don't peek. Now I'm undressing, unwrap sour candy. Wait. Is she talking about her... Track 11, Enigma. Anyone else think about that SpongeBob quote? The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma. Again, we see Gaga bringing the power to the chorus. She belts it. The song reminds me a little bit of Perfect Illusion from Joanne. And then the song really kicks in and kind of has some like art pop vibes, you know? Track 12, Replay. Oh, is that a disco vibe? Almost vaporwavy. It's a fun dance track. I really enjoy the kind of disco instrumentals that probably influenced the production. Again, we see a really fun song contrasted by pretty dark lyrics as, you know, Lady Gaga is really lost in confusion trying to deal with a past relationship with someone who has monsters of their own, you know? Track 13, Chromatica 3. More orchestral interludes that help segue to track 14, Sign from Above, featuring Elton John. I don't know how I feel about this song. It feels like this is really like a coming of age song for both Lady Gaga and Elton, who have both in their careers seem to have passed this point significantly. I get that it's supposed to be like inspiring and powerful, but to me it just kind of fell flat. And I don't really know if this is the type of song I want to hear Elton John and Lady Gaga duetting on. Like if Elton was on a Joanne track, I feel like that would be a better fit. Like it's a little too poppy and kind of in your face for a track that I want to hear Elton on. Maybe that's just me. And then the outro gets all chaotic and noisy and yeah. Track 15, 1,000 Doves. That's a lot of doves. Track is a nice little reflective dance tune. It feels a little generic, like the whole lift me up like 1,000 doves, you know, empowerment kind of feels reminiscent of something like Katy Perry's Roar. The sentiment of, you know, being healed and being able to fly again is great. But musically, this track doesn't really help, you know, push that sentiment. I just feel like there's stronger tracks on this album that are, going for the same vibe, but just kind of do it better. Like, it's not a bad track, it just doesn't really stand out. And finally, track 16, Babylon. Ooh, 80s Vogue vibes in the chorus. The song brings back the energy and really just the fun that the first third of this album really had. I like some of the production elements, like the sax and like the birds chirping. And I think the production as a whole really encompasses everything a lot of people know Lady Gaga for. I love the wordplay on this track. Talk It Out, Babylon, Battle for Your Life, Babylon. It's a great outro track. It's a lot of fun and great Lady Gaga moments on it. Fun production, spoken word vocals. Great way to end the album. Overall, this album has some pretty great energy. Like, I know the pulsating pop from the first third of the album is gonna definitely get onto my running playlist, To me, the second half of the album felt a little bloated, like I didn't need every single song on the second half. I understand and really love how this song is about healing and bravery, but I don't think that having more tracks repeating that kind of message necessarily makes it stronger. But with that being said, it is a very strong album, and I think the messages will, resonate with a lot of fans who are going through kind of this crazy time. I personally prefer some of the more poppy and dancey tunes off the first half of this album, but yeah, still a great listen. And overall, I'd probably give this album a solid 7.5 out of 10. But again, take this all with a grain of salt. I mean, this is coming from someone who listened to almost exclusively pop punk until he was 18. But what do you think? Do you like the same things I like? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, until next time, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay inside and, be safe, wash your hands, be kind to the ones you love, and, after listening to this album, dance a little. And until next time, peace.